1 minute before the apocalypse, I was holding my breath outside the school beauty's bathroom window. Just as I was about to watch the school beauty shower, the apocalypse suddenly arrived. The entire world fell silent in an instant. Everyone went blind. I ignored the school beauty's panicked screams from the bathroom and immediately ran back to my apartment. I remember, in my past life, during the end of the apocalypse, I trusted my best friend too much. In the end, I was betrayed by that bespectacled bastard. He threw me into a horde of 1,000,000 zombies with his own hands. Fortunately, heaven showed me mercy, allowing me to be reborn at this very moment. Before the first wave of disaster arrived, this first wave would cause the entire world to go blind, and it would last for a full 15 days. When I got back to the apartment, I pushed the door open. Why can't I see all of a sudden? I'm not blind, am I? A cruel glint flashed in my eyes. It was the one who had stabbed me in the back and left me for dead. I walked right up to him. The whole world has gone blind. You can still see, right? Take me to the hospital, quickly. I'm about to send you on your way. A purple orb floated out. In my previous life, this bespectacled bastard had awakened the Eye of Time, controlling the abilities of time and teleportation. The orb became a purple beam that shot into my eyes, combined with my own agility superpower. I became the world's only dual-ability awakened person after inheriting the Eye of Time. Its abilities appeared clearly in my mind. Every 24 hours, I can stop time once. Passive abilities include perfect precognition with precise target locking, and a 10,000 cubic meter storage dimension. This massive capacity is perfect for gathering supplies to prepare for the second stage of the apocalypse. In 15 days, the second stage will begin as a green fog descends. Plants and animals will start mutating and attacking humans. By then, humanity will be forced into the wild, and all supplies will become priceless, sought-after treasures. I excitedly rushed out the door, heading straight for the nearby wholesale supermarket. The supermarket was already chaotic. Countless people were bumping into each other inside like headless flies. With a single leap, I reached the second-floor food section. The shelves were piled high with products. Everything I touched was sucked into the dimension. Half an hour later, I reached the fourth floor. Suddenly, I heard a woman scream from up ahead, followed by a man's coarse voice, "Stop screaming. Everyone's blind anyway." Ji Dacheng wore a lecherous expression, his hands groping blindly in the air, trying to catch the procurement clerk before him. I watched the scene dispassionately. The apocalypse had only started just over 3 hours ago, and someone was already seizing the chance to commit evil. Human nature really can't be underestimated. Originally, I didn't want to get involved, until they rolled onto a luxury mattress I had just set my sights on. That fat pig still had his shoes on, trampling all over the clean mattress. I rushed over and slapped the bed. Whoosh, the entire mattress was sucked into my dimension. The two of them tumbled to the floor. Get lost, fat ass. This mattress is mine. Who said that? I noticed the employee badge hanging from his neck. Ji Dacheng, warehouse manager. Tell me where the warehouse and the key are. It's on the 5th floor. The key is here. I quickly went to the 5th floor warehouse. The moment I pushed the door open, I was stunned by the sight before me. A massive warehouse, the size of 4 basketball courts, was packed with unopened goods. I reached out to touch the rows of Shuanghu sausages. Wherever I walked, the shelves emptied in the blink of an eye. I waved at the mountain of Master Kong instant noodles, adding 1,000 cases of braised beef flavor to my collection. The enormous warehouse, once piled high with goods, was now completely empty. My storage dimension was less than 10% full. The feeling of a free shopping spree was truly addictive. I somersaulted down from the 5th floor and straddled a Harley-Davidson parked on the roadside. The engine roared to life, and the motorcycle shot off like a black thunderbolt. Soon, I arrived at a second department store. The plaza was filled with people who had lost their sight. Some were curled up on the ground, others leaned against benches. In the center of the plaza, a man seemed to have lost his mind. He was screaming madly about how unfair the world was. vowing to enact heaven's punishment on everyone. Suddenly, the madman hurled a meat cleaver, and by sheer coincidence, it was aimed straight at my face. I just tilted my head, narrowly dodging the projectile. I didn't want to meddle, but since he brought this upon himself, he can't blame me. The moment the madman collapsed, a green awakening orb slowly floated up from his body. I snatched the awakening orb. I never expected this madman to be an awakened one too. What a windfall. Awakening orbs are condensed masses of energy. If left outside for more than 24 hours, the energy will dissipate. But in my storage dimension, time doesn't flow, so it can be preserved forever. The apocalypse isn't just about the period of blindness. There's also the inferno of scorching heat to face, and the hopeless trial of the frozen abyss. In the next 15 days, more than half the population of Zhangcheng will be lost. There should be quite a few awakening orbs dropping. I've already foreseen this. I must gather as many awakening orbs as possible and build a great army of awakened women. I quickly entered this supermarket and spent another 3 hours or so clearing it out. Then, I rode the Harley to another supermarket. As I passed a yoga studio, I paused for a moment. The enchanting woman that countless men drooled over in my past life came from this very yoga studio. And she's an extremely rare healing type awakened one. In my past life, so many city lords were infatuated with her, but no one dared to force themselves on her. Because her healing ability is ridiculously overpowered. Even if you lose a limb, she can restore it. The apocalyptic world is deadly dangerous. No one can guarantee they won't get injured. So, Lu Yi became their hope. Since I happened to pass by today, I have to recruit her to my side. But on second thought, the most important thing right now is to hurry and stockpile supplies. Lu Yi isn't going anywhere. It's not too late to come back for her. I was busy looting until 3 in the morning. In total, I looted 5 supermarkets. My body is starting to protest from exhaustion. I need to rest for a few hours. Day 2 of the dark apocalypse. 13 days left before the green fog descends. I left early in the morning to continue scavenging for supplies. The first stop was the largest hardware superstore in Zhangcheng. On the surrounding shelves were all sorts of tools, neatly arranged. The selection was dazzling. I didn't hold back. I swept them all into my storage dimension. These tools will definitely be useful. But what I wanted most was a cutting machine, because in 14 days, stone coffins will fall from the sky. These large stone coffins are abnormally sturdy. Without power tools, it's very difficult to get the precious treasures inside. You can only rely on strength-type awakened ones to slowly smash them open. But with a cutting machine, I'll be able to slice these stone coffins open easily. It'll save effort and be safer. Soon, this hardware superstore was also cleared out by me. I stepped out of the store and headed to my next destination, the food industrial park in the south of the city. My dimension space has 55% capacity left. I've already collected plenty of clothes and bedding. From now on, food is the most important thing. The roadsides were full of people sitting around. The sudden blindness meant they couldn't find their way home. The rescue teams haven't arrived yet. They must all be desperate by now. Only 4 days left until the inferno of scorching heat arrives. By then, the ground temperature will rise continuously. Air conditioners worldwide will be left on 24 hours a day, and in less than a day. There will be successive blackouts across the globe due to insufficient power generation. When the power goes out, air conditioners become mere decorations. Tap water will stop flowing. The ground temperature will soar to 100 degrees Celsius. Indoors, it will be at least 45 degrees. The physically weak will die of dehydration by the second day. Soon, I arrived near the food industrial park. A large, eye-catching sign appeared ahead. Hearing the roar of the motorcycle, the workers sitting at the gate were instantly alerted. It must be the rescue team. We're saved. I shook my head, ignored them, and walked straight into one of the factories. AKJEEF Beef. The first floor was a warehouse for finished products. Thousands of cases of canned food were stacked neatly. I opened a case. Inside, it was full of canned beef. Case after case of canned food was sucked into my dimension. My sense of security grew little by little. In this apocalypse, only food can make a person feel safe. 3 hours of looting passed. In my dimension now, there are about 90,000 cans of various kinds of food stockpiled. After that, I went and cleaned out 4 other factories, gathering over 200 more tons of supplies. My dimension space is almost full, but next to the industrial park, there's a truck parking lot. It would be more convenient to just find some large trucks and load the supplies directly. The scene was a lot packed tightly with large trucks. I chose 65 container trucks, all of them 16 meters long. Among them were 6 refrigerated trucks, perfect for storing cured and smoked meats. And so, I was busy until after 2 in the morning, finishing loading all the goods. Now I need to find over 60 drivers. Where am I going to find suitable people? But in a moment, I had an idea. I got on my Harley and sped off towards the suburbs. Soon, I arrived at a female supermodel training center. This center was full of girls with model figures and top-tier beautiful faces. Perfect specifications for building my female army. Plus, behind this training center was a golf course. That wide lawn could easily park 400 to 500 trucks. I found an empty space first, then slowly took the container trucks out of my dimension, releasing them to park one by one until it was done. Then I decided to go see Shen Ruobing. I wonder how she's doing now in this life. Shen Ruobing is the CEO here, and a very famous world-class supermodel. In my past life, she was an incredibly influential, legendary figure. Her personal combat power wasn't that great, though. Just a blue level awakened one level below a purple power like my Eye of Space-Time. But she was an extremely rare mental type awakened one. She had the power to control humans and mutated beasts. What was most terrifying was her mass mental buff ability. She could strengthen thousands of people simultaneously. Under this buff, warriors would be at their peak morale. Even ordinary female soldiers could fight against awakened ones. In the innermost room on the 5th floor, I found Shen Ruobing, 175 centimeters tall, with a face scoring over 95 points. She had an extremely elegant and noble demeanor, matching her incredibly long, beautiful legs. So elegant I couldn't look away. Shen Ruobing spoke first. "Who are you? Since you were able to ride a vehicle in, that means you can see, right? Tell me about the situation outside. Why hasn't anyone come to rescue us?" Without hesitation, I rushed forward and pushed her down onto the sofa. "No one is going to care about you. And you, what do you want? Since you can see, there must be others who can see too. What do you want from me?" Talking to a smart person really saves effort. "Let's make a deal. I'll provide the supplies you need to survive, in exchange for you all working for me. What do you take us for? Get out. Even if I have to be blind for the rest of my life, I will never sacrifice my sisters." "President Shen, aren't you overestimating yourself? I just need people to help guard supplies. What kind of dirty thoughts are in your head?" Shen Ruobing was furious with embarrassment. "We still have supplies stockpiled at the base. We don't need you to meddle." I deliberately stomped heavily towards the door. "If you won't do it, plenty of people are begging to work with me." The fear of being abandoned by the world, combined with hunger, finally crushed Shen Ruobing's pride to dust. Wait, can you really provide food?" "Of course, as long as you bring people to help me, I'll give you all a week's worth of supplies up front." I stepped forward and lifted her chin. "As long as you all work to my satisfaction, I'll give you an extra half-month's supply of cooked food." Shen Ruobing's delicate body flinched. Her cheeks immediately flushed red. Her eyes were filled with shame and resentment. But the words, "cooked food," were like a magic spell, instantly extinguishing the fire of anger that was about to erupt in Shen Ruobing. "This special 15-day supply is your reward. As for your sisters, they still only get the 1-week quota." Shen Ruobing froze. Then, a flash of joy appeared in her eyes. And this was the result I wanted: division. If they were all treated the same, they would unite against me. Only by giving unequal benefits will they compete for my favor. The condition is that you must be obedient. I'll cooperate with you. I'll take you to choose the people right now. Choose the 60 women with the best figures from the training class at once. Not long after, Shen Ruobing gathered everyone on the lawn. She called out 60 names from memory. As for the women who weren't chosen, they fell into a frantic panic. "Everyone, get on the bus now. I'm taking you to a safe place. There's food and water waiting for you there." Looking at the helpless supermodels, I already had a plan forming in my mind. As long as I can subdue Shen Ruobing, once these women awaken their powers in the future, they will become the sharpest swords in my hand. As for supplies, I still have more than 10 days, enough time to clear out the city. or even raid supplies from other bases. These women had no idea of my true intentions. They still thought they had finally found their last straw of hope, so they cooperatively boarded the convoy. Meanwhile, the 60 women Shen Ruobing had chosen approached me awkwardly. I scanned the group carefully and said, "I have a deal to discuss with you. If you agree, I won't just give you food to survive for 7 days. I will also help you temporarily regain your sight." "What, you can make us see again?" I continued in a flat tone, "if you want these things. Of course, you'll have to pay a corresponding price." The women immediately broke into an uproar. "Are you planning to do something indecent to us?" I scoffed. "Sorry, your bodies aren't worth anything in my eyes." Some of the women's faces fell. Well, before the apocalypse, they were all goddesses that men doted on. But in an era where you can die at any moment, what good are your pretty faces? Stop thinking you're so high and mighty. My voice grew colder and colder. What I need are people who can drive and manage supplies for me. If you can do that, I'll restore your sight and give you food. But if you can't, I don't care if you live or die. If you behave, I don't mind letting you see again permanently, I thought to myself. In truth, after 10 days of the apocalypse blindness, vision gradually returns on its own. But these women would never know that, so this promise became their last straw. If there are no objections, everyone to your stations. Soon, all the women were inside the trucks. Eye of Space-Time, activate. A special temporal power descended in an instant. It covered the bodies of all 60 women. I used the power of time reversal to force their eyes back to their normal, healthy state. As time passed, the light of life gradually returned to their eyes. These pampered young ladies could no longer hold back and burst into tears. Enough. Save your tears. Even though you can see again, it's still hard to survive in this world. Take good care of the supplies, and you'll survive. All the women looked up at me. My face and my imposing presence were deeply imprinted on their souls. Not far away, Shen Ruobing's face was pale. Hearing everyone's joyful cries, she seemed lost in thought. "Everyone, get in. Keep the trucks close. If you get lost and run into those beasts, I can't guarantee your safety." In reality, they weren't stupid. They knew that their beauty would only bring them death now. I straddled my motorcycle and said flatly to Shen Ruobing beside me, "Let's go. You ride with me." But unexpectedly, Shen Ruobing's attitude was now meek and obedient. I knew she wanted to see again too, but I couldn't agree so easily. I needed to drill one truth into their hearts. And as expected, it wasn't long before she pleaded, "I want to be able to see again too." I chuckled and replied, "Your previous performance only earned you half a month's worth of food. If you want to see, what will you trade for it? As long as I can see again, I'm willing to be your woman." That's just an excuse for survival. What I want is her complete and utter submission. Before the apocalypse, I would have been overjoyed. But this is the apocalypse. What I need are resources, guns, and labor. Your beauty is worthless. If you want to see, then prove your worth. Or make me fall for you. I've never been stingy with my own women. I led the convoy to the golf course. It was surrounded by mountains and rivers. And the area was open and spacious. It was an excellent location. I took a pile of food out of my storage dimension and handed a large portion of cooked food to Shen Ruobing. I said, "This is your share for half a month." Then I turned to all the women and said, "This is your food for 1 day. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Oh, and I'll be taking back your sight for now. Whoever performs well will have the chance to see this world again." I ignored their wails and ruthlessly cut off the power of time. Watching the women return to darkness and cry out in fear, I got on my motorcycle with a sneer. Only by making them understand that I am the controller of light will they learn the meaning of obedience. Now, I should go find more important supplies. The most scarce things right now are weapons and medical supplies. The Harley-Davidson came to a stop in front of a shooting range. The hallway was empty. It was eerily quiet. I went straight to the shooting range. What greeted my eyes were weapons and ammunition strewn all over the floor and on the gun racks. There were even several brand new MP5s. I quickly stored these guns in my dimension. After clearing the shooting range, I turned and pushed open the warehouse door. There were over 300 crates of ammunition in the warehouse. Once Shen Ruobing awakens her powers, I'll have her lead a firearms unit. I carefully searched the shooting range one more time. Then I hopped on the Harley and sped towards the hospital. Unfortunately, the city center was too chaotic, so I could only loot a few small hospitals. My dimension was now stocked with plenty of fever reducers, saline, and other medicines. I hummed a little tune as I rode towards the golf course. Is anyone there? Somebody help me. A cry for help pierced my ears. I raised an eyebrow and stopped the bike. It wasn't that I suddenly felt compassionate enough to help someone, but I sensed something was off. When the apocalypse first started, people might still cry out in panic. But human nature has already killed off any empathy. Daring to scream now? You wouldn't be calling for help, but for the Grim Reaper. I was getting a little curious. I wanted to see what this person's real purpose was. I saw a woman leaning against a wall, groaning and feigning intense pain. I could tell with one glance. This woman was clearly bait. Is anyone there? Do you need help? Her face lit up with joy. I was out looking for things and accidentally sprained my ankle. Could you please take me home? I glanced at her ankle. There wasn't a single scratch. This trick must have fooled countless horny idiots. I wasn't planning on being a hero and upholding justice, but I was eyeing the supplies they had hoarded. Their house must be full of good stuff. Really? Sure, I'll take you there. I followed her directions and helped her up. The moment we touched, a murderous glint flashed in her eyes for an instant. Her maliciousness was completely within my grasp. Her house was upstairs. I pretended to struggle as I helped her up. She probably thought I couldn't see, so she continued to speak in that sickeningly sweet voice. The moment I pushed the door open, my intuition told me someone was hiding behind it. I remained calm and helped her to a chair. Bang! The door was slammed shut and bolted. A giant of a man holding a baseball bat was staring at me with a vicious look. Kid, hand over all your valuables. I didn't say anything, just looked around the room. It was filled with supplies, clearly looted from others. The woman immediately dropped her act, making me go out as bait every single day. This kid was handsy just now. You have to break his hands for me later. I'm a Taekwondo black belt, you know. Before he could finish his rant, I landed a heavy punch right in his gut. The immense force shattered his defenses in an instant. The giant doubled over like a shrimp and collapsed to the floor. His agonizing screams were silenced immediately. Faced with this sudden turn of events, the woman was terrified and trembling. Just from the sound, she knew her fate. She had provoked a tiger. Her face was pale as she cowered in her chair. In the end, I sent these two beasts to hell. They killed people for their possessions, and I came to farm their loot. I have to admit, these two had hoarded a lot of stuff. It was all mine now. I packed everything up and started my motorcycle, driving off into the darkness again. When I returned to the golf course, the moon was already high in the sky. Even though the girls had gone blind again, no one dared to run around. They just stood there obediently, waiting for my return. As for Shen Ruobing, after a day of contemplation, it was clear she had made her decision. I nodded in satisfaction. Very good, you've all been very obedient. As a reward, tonight I'll take you to a good place for a hot bath and a delicious meal. Thank you. The next second, several tall, slender girls rushed towards me. They clung to my arm. As long as you let me see again, I'm willing to be your girlfriend. I shook my head lightly. These women hadn't truly submitted yet. If I agreed now, there's no guarantee they wouldn't betray me later. I needed to make them understand that some things can't be obtained just by begging. What I wanted was submission from the depths of their hearts. You want to see again? Then show me your value first. If you're useful enough, I can give you even greater rewards. Sensing the coldness in my words, the girls all shrank back in fear, biting their lips, their faces filled with apprehension. They were afraid of angering me. All right, go and distribute the food to the others on the trucks first. Remember, 1 portion per person. After you're done, leave them outside. You all did well today. The big meal and the bath are special rewards for you. The others are not entitled to them. I deliberately planted the seeds of class division in their hearts. Only by creating division would they not unite and cause trouble for me. The girls were very obedient. They went to distribute food to the 1,000+ people on the trucks. Just then, Shen Ruobing quietly approached me. This place needs someone to manage it. Although I'm just a woman, I have years of experience managing models. I believe I can help you take care of everything. I didn't expect her to adapt so quickly. When there are more people, I'll give you a chance. Shen Ruobing continued, even though I can't see now. I can manage these women, so you won't have to worry. Very well, we'll do as you say. I didn't refuse. If Shen Ruobing could manage the rear well, it would indeed save me a lot of trouble. Soon, the 60 girls finished distributing the food and fumbled their way back to me. This time, they didn't chatter annoyingly. They just respectfully reported that they had completed their task. I nodded slightly. Very good. Now, follow me for a big meal. And then a bath. At my words, the girls cheered, and a rare smile appeared on Shen Ruobing's face. I led them into the clubhouse. This golf course is a top-tier private club in this city. The second floor is a restaurant. As for the security guards, blind and with their lives in disarray, they were now curled up fast asleep in the staff lounge downstairs. When we reached the second floor restaurant, I ordered Shen Ruobing. Lead them up to the third floor bathhouse. Clean yourselves up before coming down to eat. Everyone, stick close to me. When we bathe, no dawdling. Don't be slower than me. You must follow orders strictly. Shen Ruobing's voice became stern. She quelled the girls' commotion in an instant. I stayed in the restaurant alone to heat up the food. Pizzas, meat pies, and desserts were in the microwave and oven. A tempting aroma wafted out. Shen Ruobing returned with the group of freshly cleansed women. I announced grimly that the food was ready. Take whatever you want to eat. I assure you, as long as you obey me, you will not only survive, but you will live better than anyone else. All the women came forward, fumbling for their food. I stood by the window, gazing into the distance, towards the vast, dark field. My brows furrowed slightly. The hidden dangers in this building haven't been fully checked. This place isn't safe enough. And since it's not safe enough, I'll lure out those threats myself. I came to an iron door on the first floor alone, and slammed my palm against it. The loud bang echoed through the empty hallway. The dozen or so security guards hiding in the supply room were jolted awake. Screams erupted. Who's there? Who is it? I didn't rush to act. Instead, I silently retreated into the shadows. The group of guards shouted in fear, fumbling and squeezing their way out of the supply room. When they reached the stairs, they heard the sounds of cheerful chatter and laughter. There isn't much food left in the restaurant. There are so many of them. If this goes on, we'll all starve. Kick them out. This is our territory. The head guard sneered. He then led his men, fumbling their way up the stairs. And I followed them silently, like a ghost. I was really curious what these people would decide to do in such an extreme situation. This is what you call killing a chicken to scare the monkeys. I wanted those girls to realize just how worthless a human life is in this collapsed world, and that their life and death were all in my hands. The dozen or so guards had vicious looks on their faces, slowly fumbling their way towards the sounds. Who are you? This is our territory. The thunderous shout made the girls jump in fear. They all stood frozen. What do you mean this is your territory? Does it have your name written on it? We've been here for days. Shen Ruobing sneered. Besides, we paid to be members here. If we're talking about it, you're the ones who should get lost. You're asking for it. Money is just scrap paper now. The head guard gritted his teeth and was the first to charge forward. The women had never been in a situation like this. Hearing the footsteps getting closer and closer, they retreated in terror. In fact, this was the head guard's plan. Since everyone was blind, all he had to do was intimidate them loudly, to break the women's psychological defenses. Just as they were about to rush in, a fragrant scent wafted through the air. It drifted into their noses, the scent of shower gel and a soft, gentle fragrance. It instantly awakened the primal, savage instincts of this group of able-bodied men. At first, they had no ill intentions because they couldn't see. But now, their enticing fragrance and their sweet, bird-like voices were just too tempting for them. These high-class women, normally, they wouldn't even dare to look at them. But now, all rules had crumbled. The law no longer had any meaning. One of the guards breathed heavily. Boss, I can't take it anymore. Since they won't leave, I'll teach them a lesson for you. He roared like a starving beast, and lunged towards the source of the fragrance. I hid in the darkness, watching this scene with cold eyes, and a cruel smile at the corner of my mouth. It's time for some fun. seeing that guard with a lustful look on his face, reaching out to grab the nearest girl. Even though Shen Ruobing couldn't see anything, she swung the fork in her hand furiously, to protect the sisters behind her. "You're courting death, time stop," I whispered in a low voice. My body shot through the darkness, so fast that the naked eye could barely follow. The whole world froze in an instant. The guard's distorted face, the tears falling from the girl's eyes, everything was frozen like a bizarre painting. With a light flick of the fruit knife in my hand, the first guard who rushed in had the tendons in both his hands instantly severed. Then I moved behind the head guard, turned him to face the door, and kicked him squarely in the back, leaving him in that face-planting position. 3 seconds later, time resumed, and the head guard's body flew like a broken kite, crashing through the restaurant's glass partition. He fell to the first-floor hall with a blood-curdling scream. As for the remaining guards, they trembled like baby birds. I walked back to Shen Ruobing and said in a cold voice, "So this is what you call reasoning? In the apocalypse, fists are the only truth." Shen Ruobing's slender body trembled. The stench of death was right under her nose. It shattered the last ounce of pride in her heart. She slowly lowered her head. Her voice was soft, but firm. "Master, please, grant us the power to survive. From now on, our lives are yours." I smirked with satisfaction, before activating the Eye of Spacetime again. A golden light shone down once more. The vision of the 60 girls was restored in an instant. When they opened their eyes again, the way they looked at me had changed. No longer the weakness and the probing gazes. What replaced them was absolute reverence and fanatical faith. I turned around and walked back to the chairman's seat. "Get rid of this trash. Don't let them dirty our dining area." Shen Ruobing's eyes turned cold and decisive. "Anyone who chickens out will be bait for the convoy tomorrow." I looked at Shen Ruobing, who was beginning to show the same spiritual leadership potential as in her past life. I slowly closed my eyes and entered the system dimension. Current supply reserve, 2,000 tons, including canned food, tools, medicine, and weapons. 65% of the space has been used. In the following 3 days, I led this newly formed all-female force and completely cleaned out the nearby cold storage warehouses and camping supply stores. I used simulated experiments with extreme weather conditions to help them adapt to the scorching heat in advance. On the 5th day of the dark apocalypse, the power was completely cut off. The surface temperature of the Earth soared to 60 degrees Celsius. The entire world became a hellish furnace. But my all-female force was wearing the most advanced tactical armor and staying in the cool underground ice storage, training their marksmanship to death. On the 12th day of the dark apocalypse, the darkness that had shrouded the entire world began to show cracks. For most people, the world was no longer completely dark, but had become a blurry image of light and shadow, and in this semi-blind state, the powerful individuals whose special abilities had awakened, allowing their vision to recover early, had started to form gangs. Inside the base, Shen Ruobing wiped the sweat from her forehead. At the ruins of the Northern Armory, traces of a divine armory have been found. Several forces are now converging there. I slowly opened my eyes. A purple special energy flowed in my eyes. It seems the progress in this life is faster than I thought. "Bring those 60 women. We're going to claim the first batch of divine weapons." The Black Harley roared to life and shot off, followed by 60 heavy trucks that looked like steel beasts under the scorching sun. Like a conquering army from hell, Shen Ruobing sat on the backseat. "Master, a large number of life signs have been detected 1 kilometer ahead. Among them, 3 groups have very strong auras." I sneered coldly. It seems those high-level blind people can already see the shadows of insects. Just then, a commotion erupted in the dark corners of the ruins. The leader was a fierce-looking man named Lei Hu, holding a long sword with a faint flow of lightning. Lei Hu's voice was as loud as a great bell. "I wonder which master is ahead. I advise you not to meddle. We found this thing first." Sudden tremor of the earth interrupted him. 3 massive, 5-meter-tall warrior stone coffins burst out of the ground. The stone coffins were covered in mysterious ancient runes. They emitted a cold blue light under the scorching sun. "This is the divine armory." The other forces, though they couldn't see the details clearly, felt the pressure making the special energy in their bodies stir restlessly. I order the sisters to get off the trucks and distribute weapons immediately. Surround a 500-meter radius. Anyone who dares to approach the stone coffins will be shot until they're riddled with holes. Shen Ruobing responded decisively. A formless psychic wave spread out, instantly suppressing the surrounding people who were thinking of making a move. I flipped off the bike and took out a large industrial-grade laser cutter from my storage dimension. Lei Hu shouted, "The treasures in these stone coffins. We, the Black Tiger sect, want one piece." I didn't even turn back. My right hand drew an MP5 from my waist. I fired without looking back. 3 bullets formed a precise triangle. They pierced directly into the center of Lei Hu's forehead. A little bit of restored vision. Gave you the illusion that you could challenge me? Lei Hu didn't even have a chance to scream. The surrounding hooligans who were about to rush out, seeing this scene, were so terrified they shrank back into the shadows. I continued to operate the cutter. Amidst the ear-piercing screech, the cloud iron seal of the stone coffin was violently cut open. The coffin lid slid off. A dark red light instantly dispelled the surrounding murky air. A long spear with a ferocious dragon carved on its shaft lay quietly in the stone coffin. Divine weapon, red dragon ruin-breaking spear, legendary grade. I reached out and grabbed the spear shaft. A frantic energy flowed through my arms and into my whole body. The green awakening orb in my storage dimension began to vibrate wildly. As if cheering for obtaining the first divine weapon, my gaze fell on the remaining 2 stone coffins. In this life, I will not only have the strongest special abilities, but I will also gather all the divine weapons and artifacts in this world under my throne. I held the spear with one hand, the red dragon spear pointing diagonally at the ground. Ruobing, bring the 3 most composed sisters here. Shen Ruobing paused for a moment. Suddenly, her eyes flashed with extreme joy. She knew this was the bestowal of a divine weapon. She quickly called out the names of the 3 women who had performed most ruthlessly in training. The murderous aura under their tactical armor was already starting to resemble that of an army. The laser cutter roared sharply again. The second warrior stone coffin opened. A dark blue, chilling light shot up into the sky. The surrounding high temperature instantly dropped by several degrees. Netherworld cold moon, epic grade. Comes with a slowing ice effect. I flicked my wrist lightly. The short dagger turned into a blue stream of light. Landed precisely in the arms of one of the women. The woman gripped the short dagger tightly. But when they felt the resonance between their special abilities and the weapon, their eyes filled with frenzy. The third armory is open. The moment the coffin lid was cracked open just a sliver, a violent psychic wave swept across the entire area. It was a bell as transparent as crystal, that emitted an eerie purple light. The soul sealing bell. A psychic support divine weapon. Legendary grade, it can greatly enhance psychic power. I handed the bell to Shen Ruobing. This item, in this world, only you are worthy of it. The moment Shen Ruobing took the bell, her original blue special energy light faintly glowed with a noble purple. And it automatically emitted a jingling sound that struck the soul. My head, run. In the shadows of the ruins, the super-powered individuals who had planned to take advantage collapsed as if struck by lightning. They clutched their heads, screaming in agony as they fell to the ground. I sneered coldly, "Since you've shown your faces, then stay here as fertilizer." My body shot out like lightning, weaving through the crowd with swift strikes. With every thrust of the spear, the spiraling shadow of a giant dragon appeared. Shen Ruobing floated gracefully in midair. The soul-sucking wind chime in her hand trembled violently. The hooligans began to slaughter each other madly. They were trapped in an endless illusion, while the 60 supermodel beauties held modern firearms. They coldly reaped the lives of the remaining survivors. In these abandoned factory ruins, no living creature remained except for us. The 3 divine weapons were finally mine. Combined with the previously stockpiled supplies, we were virtually invincible in the early stages of the apocalypse. The dark apocalypse entered its 14th day, the last day of the period of blindness. The sky above was no longer a dull gray, but began to suffuse with a strange color. It was a nauseating dark green. I stood on the highest viewpoint of the golf course. Looking down below, the golf course had completely changed. Hundreds of large trucks were arranged like a steel wall. The area inside was divided into living quarters, a training zone, and a supply storage area. Over the past 14 days, I had not only cleaned out hardware stores and food factories, but also swept through 3 cold storage warehouses and a small oil depot. My storage dimension was now expanded to its limit. It not only contained fully packed supplies, but also a large number of awakening orbs. Shen Ruobing came to a stop behind me. Her aura was now mysterious and unfathomably strong. In her eyes, there was no trace of the weakness of the former supermodel CEO. Master, the girls have all entered their positions in the underground stronghold. Gas masks and protective suits have also been distributed. Tonight at midnight sharp, the green fog will definitely descend. And when that time comes, all vegetation will grow wildly. Animals, big and small, will mutate into terrifying beasts. But more importantly, everyone will regain their sight in an instant. However, what awaits them is not the joy of seeing the light, but true hell. Midnight sharp. The swirling green clouds slowly pressed down. As they swept through the streets, the roadside trees grew dozens of meters taller in an instant. They whipped their branches like monster tentacles, dragging passers-by in to be devoured. As it swept through the zoo, the roars of wild animals echoed, like giant prehistoric beasts, filled with hunger and a mad thirst for blood. At the same time, the eye of space-time in my mind vibrated violently. Major global environmental change detected. The apocalypse has entered its second phase. Current environment, the green fog era. Host detected to possess 2 special abilities, automatically triggering the special ability evolution mission. Hunt 100 Tier 1 monster cores. Reward: upgrade of the Eye of Space-Time and unlocking the time reversal skill. I smirked coldly. The era of free looting is over. From this moment on, it's the real hunting season. The grass of the golf course beneath my feet, originally soft blades, began to twist and shoot up wildly the moment they touched the green fog. In just half a minute, the once soft grass blades were now half a meter tall. Their edges were covered in sharp, saw-like thorns. The few thorny palm trees at the edge of the field as well. Their trunks swelled and cracked violently, before transforming into giant mouths full of sharp fangs, waving tentacles that looked like octopus arms. They tried to snatch everything living around them. I immediately gave an order through the communicator. Everyone, do not step out of the underground bunker. Ruobing, use the wind chime. Suddenly, from the direction of the basement, a purple sound wave, visible to the naked eye, spread out in ripples. The legendary divine weapon in Shen Ruobing's hand, the soul-sealing bell, was activated. That chilling chime was a severe mental torture for humans. But for these low-level, newly mutated plants, it was incredibly effective. Thorny vines that were frantically creeping towards the clubhouse recoiled as if facing a natural predator. Around the main building, a vacuum zone with a 100-meter diameter had been created. A temporary safe stronghold. I leapt out, from the 3rd floor down to the deadly thorny grass. The moment my feet touched the ground, the teleport skill activated. I reappeared 10 meters away from the void, narrowly dodging the sharp thorns that had burst from the ground. I was about to prove something, and to complete the crucial mission assigned by the system. Hunt 100 Tier 1 monster cores to unlock time reversal. My experience from my previous life told me that in the early stages of the green fog's descent, the fastest and most ferocious mutations were not wild animals. By the artificial lake in the golf course, I saw my target. It was the golden carp I used to keep as pets in the lake. But now, it had completely broken free from the constraints of water. Its body had grown to 3 meters long. Its scales stood erect like daggers, and its fins had transformed into sharp bone claws. Caught my scent, and its hind legs pushed off with immense force. Leaping towards me like a golden cannonball, I charged back, unleashing a burst of agility. The second it missed, I slid under its soft belly. The red dragon ruin-breaking spear thrust with unstoppable momentum, piercing upwards with full force. A dark red energy exploded within its body. The golden monster shrieked in agony, crashing heavily to the ground and falling still. A thumb-sized crystal, emitting a faint murky green light, rolled out. 1 Tier 1 monster core obtained. Current progress: 1 out of 100. I stored the monster core in my dimension, feeling a slight increase in my special energy. This exhilarating feeling of growing stronger was even more addictive than hoarding supplies. I looked up towards the city. Bright lights shot into the sky from there, and even from several kilometers away, I could hear screams. It was time to retrieve a forgotten treasure. I had been so busy hoarding weapons and divine items that I almost forgot about her. Now that the green fog had descended, if I didn't hurry, her delicate body wouldn't survive the first night. Healers, in the early days of the apocalypse, had almost zero combat power. But in a party, they were invaluable treasures. I revved the Harley and used my teleport skill, dodging the tree roots that suddenly pierced through the road and the shattered concrete fragments along the way. The situation in the city was worse than I expected. The once bustling commercial district had now become a plant paradise. Cars were twisted and deformed by gigantic vines. The glass walls of shops had long since shattered, and the low roars of beasts echoed intermittently. My target was very clear. It took me half an hour to reach my destination. I used my teleport skill to appear directly inside the yoga studio. The interior was a complete mess. The air was filled with the distinct stink smell of mutated plants. The terrified screams of a woman echoed from the innermost VIP training room. I crept closer, looking through the shattered glass door to clearly see the situation inside. Lu Yi was cowering and trembling in a corner of the room. At this moment, she hadn't awakened her healing power yet. She was just an ordinary woman in extreme panic, and what was cornering her was a poodle the size of a calf. This poodle now had its curly brown fur standing on end like steel needles. Its eyes were bloodshot, and saliva dripped from its mouth. It was slowly cornering Lu Yi, step by step, savoring the fear of its prey. Lu Yi closed her eyes in despair, her hands flailing wildly. Holding a harmless-looking yoga stick, I raised my MP5 submachine gun with an impassive face. Dealing with such a basic Tier 1 monster, using the Red Dragon Spear would be a waste of effort. Bullets accurately sprayed into the head of the mutated dog. Its massive body crashed to the floor. It twitched a few times before falling completely still. Lu Yi screamed in fright. She squatted down, covering her head. After several seconds, she slowly looked up with fear. In her eyes, there was joy at surviving, but even more, extreme terror. I walked towards her, stood over her, and looked down. "Can you walk?" Lu Yi nodded blankly, before quickly shaking her head. Her legs were too weak to stand. Thank you for saving me." I scoffed. "I didn't want to save you. I just saw you as useful. I was too lazy to talk much." I grabbed her arm, and hoisted her up, like carrying a chick. "Outside, it's full of these monsters. If you want to survive, shut up." My rude demeanor jolted her from her daze. This was no romantic scene where a hero on a white horse saved the heroine. "Hold on tight." I dragged her to the window. Amidst her wide, terrified eyes, I simply jumped through the 16th story window, and before her scream could pierce the darkness, a spatial ripple shimmered, and vanished instantly. We landed softly next to the Harley motorcycle parked at the street corner below. I swung her onto the back seat. "Hold me tight. If you fall off, I won't come back for you." By now, Yi was in shock from the rapid succession of crazy events and had lost her wits. She instinctively hugged my waist so tightly she practically merged with me, her entire body pressed against my back. I started the Harley. Amidst the roaring engine, I sped off with the team's second core member, heading back to the base. The next goal: to fully operate this base to prepare for the coming world-ending zombie wave. "Master, you're back?" At the entrance of the golf course, two young women in tight combat suits quickly opened the gigantic gate. Yi jumped off the bike, seeing the futuristic base, like a steel fortress, before her. And a group of beautiful, radiant women standing everywhere, she gasped. At first, she thought she had been captured by hooligans. She never imagined that this man could create a utopia amidst the apocalypse in just over 10 days. Shen Ruobing quickly approached. The soul-sealing bell in her hand chimed, and an invisible psychic wave spread out to scan Lu Yi. Shen Ruobing's eyes scanned Lu Yi from head to toe, her gaze filled with evaluation. "Master, is this the person you said would be our hope? Her name is Lu Yi. She will be our team's future healer. Remember, there's no food here for the weak. Ruobing, take her to the awakening room. Since the green fog has covered everything, the pure energy in the air should be enough to help her unlock her first genetic phase." I didn't care about Lu Yi's wary demeanor at all. I merely turned my back and looked beyond the wall. The once flat lawn had now transformed into a gigantic primeval forest. Deep, low growls echoed from the depths of the forest, and the next second, dozens of eyes glowing with a cold green light appeared amidst the mist. Shen Ruobing narrowed her sharp, beautiful eyes. Those are mutated wolves, and several mutated leopard cats too. They're trying to break through our defenses. You don't need to act. Coincidentally, my mission to hunt 100 monster cores still has a long way to go. I pushed off with my feet, charging forward. My body flashed, becoming a mere afterimage. In an instant, I crossed 50 meters, piercing directly into the center of the mutated wolf pack. The red dragon ruin-breaking spear swept and slashed, ripping through the air, creating a fiery, scorching arc. The energy that erupted from the spearhead tore the 3 leading mutated wolves to shreds in a fraction of a second. 3 Tier 1 monster cores obtained. Current progress: 4 out of 100. This made my steps smooth, as if walking on flat ground, even surrounded by over 10 monsters. Each spatial transfer accurately placed me at the blind spot of the monsters. Half an hour later, I simply flicked my hand, and the monster crystals scattered on the ground were all pulled into my storage dimension. Current progress is 27%. Detecting the aura of a high-tier Tier 1 monster. Caution. And at that very second, the entire golf course ground shook violently. The willow tree that once stood by the lake, now frantically stimulated by the green fog, had terrifying human faces growing from its trunk. Its countless drooping willow branches transformed into poison-laced scythes. They were frantically lashing out at the golf course's steel fence. From the direction of the basement, a sacred white light suddenly shone upwards. The light pierced through the thick concrete, momentarily calming the frenzied plants around it. Lu Yi has successfully awakened her power. Obtained an S-grade special ability. Shen Ruobing's voice came through my earpiece. Lu Yi has awakened her power. Her special ability isn't just for healing wounds, it can also enhance our attack efficiency. The corner of my mouth curved into a smile. Excellent, everyone, prepare your divine weapons, and let's go. This tree, I will take it as the first prize of victory for our all-female army.